Welcome to the Marshall Pruitt Podcast, presented by the Justice Brothers, makers of fine additives, cleaners, and lubricants for the automotive, heavy equipment, agricultural, and industrial worlds, and our friends at Cooper Tires. Got our buddies TK and JB. Tommy Kendall, he of 9'12" driving prowess, and also his British brother Justin Bell, equally as talented behind the wheel, but definitely, I would say, maybe even more talented, these two, with a microphone in hand, having great fun, and that's exactly what they have come together to do. Starting this week at the Rolex 24 at Daytona, they will be with us at every single IMSA round, in the paddock or there or thereabouts, hosting a daily, possibly more than once per day, live stream show. The Torque Show, Torque. Definitely check them out and hopefully subscribe to everything they're doing, whether it's on social media, wherever they are live streaming this. I know they're going to have a Torque Show website, but I believe Facebook is a place where you'll be able to see this among other destinations. But these are folks looking to bring something that the broadcast gang at NBC Sports are not able to deliver. Unfortunately, these two were not picked up as part of the NBC Sports IMSA team, so guess what? Honestly, I think we're actually better off for that, because we get unbridled Tommy Kendall and unbridled Justin Bell. No censors, no time limits, full character on display through their live stream, through their shows. I'm hoping this also turns into a thing where, as they grab drivers and team owners and whomever in the paddock for the show, that this is something where fans start to turn up to and build an audience there. So, looking at all of the things that are happening this year during IMSA's 50th anniversary, thinking about the increased, more promising TV package with NBC Sports, think about this Torque Show, really trying to fill in the daily live streaming option as well with a lot of fun. And I would say between what I'm doing with my Marshall Pruitt podcast, the live events there at the track, and or just the podcast that I capture, hopefully our friends at Dinner with Racers will continue to do some of their live podcasts and just bringing fans together, meeting people, meeting all the personalities involved in IMSA, asking them some questions, having some fun. Just saying, IMSA's becoming a thing. So we're now entering its 6th season under the reconstituted IMSA, but it's heading not just in the right direction, but I think the style of how things are coming together, with a lot of folks trying to bring it to wider masses and reveal all of the true kooks in the paddock and just all the flavor that there is to be had. Yeah, there's some good stuff happening here, and so happy for our friends TK and JB to have some great partners behind them as well. Please support their advertisers, which they mention. It's all good stuff, all helping everyone's proverbial boats to rise. All right, let's get going with these two. JB, TK, all here, courtesy of Cooper Tires and the Justice Brothers on the Marshall Pruitt Podcast. Although sports car fans might not be seeing you two lovely beasts in the normal fashion they have for the past many, many years, let's talk about this cool new thing you guys are going to be doing at IMSA events that I'm just going to show up and watch as a fan.
Well, I'd just like to say, Tommy, I think he misunderstood, because I haven't actually been supposed to be in the pit lane for the last 3 years anyway. I just got OMP to make a suit and I turned up. It's like, it's the perfect way, anyone listening. That's how you get into the pit lane.
I'm pretty sure Justin has done all of his pit reporting for Marion's hospitality catering tent for the last 3 years, so this won't be a huge change for him.
A little step and repeat of pit lane. It's actually a photo he's been standing in front of for many years to give the impression he's on pit lane.
Well, I know where to find you anyway, in the press room. But do you know what? Yes, we are excited. I guess, TK, we realized a little earlier on that we weren't necessarily going to be invited to the dance with NBCSN this year. Although a lot of our friends, we are really happy have got a place in the lineup, and it is an amazing lineup. But really, TK and I were going, well, IMSA's our world, right, mate? This is our world. We can't leave it. So we started putting a plan together.
We love doing TV, but if we're honest, every time the show was about to start, we're like, we got to figure out how to get to these races ideally having someone else paying, where we don't actually have to work during the races. And so we've more or less figured out a way to do that. And so we're going to, and this came together pretty quickly. Everyone we told about it was like, oh my gosh. So it's stretching a lot of itches, apparently. Everybody talks about we need to tell more stories about the personalities, and we need to get into some of the fun stuff. The reality is the TV windows are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So you come on 6 minutes before the green flag, and you're off 6 minutes after, or something along those lines. And so it just doesn't happen. So when we said we wanted to basically just park ourselves, literally, we're going to be next to an Airstream trailer in the garage area, more or less a set, kind of a lounge, or, so it's the way I've explained it initially before we had anything, even a rendering, was it's kind of like NFL on Fox meets Bravo Clubhouse meets The Tonight Show with these two guys, just more or less talking about what we find interesting and hoping that connects with a larger audience.
So
it's evolved from there.
Scoring Andy Cohen to be on it, that was really impressive too.
Well, who knows? I mean, so we oversaid it is called The Talk Show, but it's TORQUE, and Tommy only just told me at the Raw that he thought I'd sold him on a whole different show because of my accent.
I thought he was saying The Talk Show. I'm like, that's a great idea.
I was like, no, it's a talk show, you idiot. And he's like, no, I know it's a talk show. So anyway, after our, two languages divided by one common language, we got it sorted out. And I got to tell you, Marshall, that we are so excited about it. Tommy just said it really allowed us to do what we love, hopefully with a lot less of the formal linear TV parameters. This is a live stream show, and we think we've come up with a really good format, right, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, the whole chopped up part of television, which is a necessary evil, at least for the time being, we're going to have maybe a couple commercial breaks, but it's scheduled for it's 3 shows a weekend, an hour Friday, an hour Saturday, an hour Sunday, or a half hour Sunday morning, but that's just kind of a guideline. There's no reason we can't go 90 minutes if we don't want to. If we're sitting down with Paul Tracy or Fernando Alonso or something like that, and we go 20 minutes. So it's kind of the best parts of a podcast. There will be some produced elements. It's going to be a lot more polished than your traditional web TV show. We've got some great two young guys, Jason Jacobson and Brett Rentker, who just left NASCAR Productions, that are going to be handling all this for us. And so, we think we've struck on something that's different than what people have done before, but you'll recognize parts of it, hopefully the parts that you like, and marrying all those things together. It's a work in progress. We're not going to get too twisted up over it that things will go wrong. We're going to grab people that are walking by that weren't scheduled and so forth, and just more or less have fun and roll the cameras.
And where I think this is going to be the perfect complement is, as you mentioned, we will have the full NBC efforts to display what is happening on track, commentary teams, all of those standard fixtures, the daily live web stream, live streaming component here that I don't want to say unofficial, because you guys are certainly working with IMSA on this. I mean, this is definitely something that is, we'll call it above board. You guys aren't doing some bootleg pirate effort stuff here, but I think it does fit exactly what we have needed, which is, hey, guess what? Couple of the favorite folks from the paddock who've delivered the paddock to us and the races to us for many years, now they are going to park their butts and grab people and just have fun for the sake of telling IMSA's story in ways that, as you mentioned, TK, you really can't do it in that quick entry into a race and the quick outro. I like the sound of just this informal free ball effort as well. And that's another thing.
Well, I think you're going to like it, Marshall, and everyone's going to hopefully enjoy it because, we have some incredible partners. Obviously, as you know, anything connected with racing costs a lot of money. And with, the kind of environment, the excitement at IMSA, and of course there's a huge evolution, not just with NBCSN becoming involved, but with Michelin becoming the sole tire provider for the series. And I've had quite a long relationship with Michelin, especially the last 2 years. If any of the fans of the Fox broadcast will remember, I used to do those fun Michelin segments, tire tech tips, and really had a good time with it. And I hosted some really big events for them. The launch of their new Pilot Sport 4S in Palm Springs a couple of years ago. So some big events. And they've come on board as our presenting sponsor. And I got to say, their energy, their ability to bring influencers into the paddock, I think for IMSA, we're about to see the new good old days. And also VP Racing Fuels are on board. Shameless plug there.
No. This is important stuff, mate, because honestly,
they couldn't
what
be
we
better
do,
to us. You know how it goes. And, Donato from VP Racing Fuels and those guys and the whole management team, they love IMSA. They're not the biggest brand in the world, but they have a very loud and large footprint, and we're excited to have them on board. But we need a home because there's no room in the press room. There's no one will let us in their race trailers. We're not allowed in the stands, and we're not allowed in the pit lane. So we needed a home. I'm joking, everybody, but we needed a home. And the vision was that we'd have an Airstream, and her name is Betty the Airstream, and we were looking at building a special custom unit, and then through mutual connections, Airstream have come on board, and Airstream are a very formative partner. So you'll see us with a beautiful Airstream at Daytona, right on the end cap in the paddock, and I mean it's crazy, Tommy. I think we're going to have the coolest. Now we have the coolest seat in the house.
No question. And it's we have the three main shows, but we're also something we're going to be developing on our own channels as well is a post-race show. And so when the race ends, even when it's a big race, walking around the pit lane at Petit when the motors shut off, there's the victory lights of victory lane or what have you, but there's kind of an anticlimactic feel for people that are camping or whatever, and it's like, oh, it's over. And so we want to have not just the voices, we want to have a sense of place. And so we want it to be a place where we're going to have a live audience as well. I mean, if the live audience gets big, that'll present some problems in the garage area, but we'll deal with that as it comes. Good problem to have. So, it's, a lot of times we just hold court. In the past, you're just parked on someone's golf cart or whatever, and more or less some of the same kind of stuff. Now everyone's excited. Some of the powers that be are a little nervous, which is why there's a little bit of an arm's length relationship. But the way it was explained to us is, as long as we have some plausible deniability, but ultimately we can kick the power cord out if you get too far. And we assured them to say we like dancing on the edge, but we try not to step up too far over.
And that's I would say the real brilliance here as well. Tommy, I mean, everybody in the paddock. Justin, everybody in the paddock. I'm also confident, tell me if you guys share this confidence, that, heck, like what I've done with my podcast, like what our friends Sean Heckman and Ryan Eversley have done with theirs, those who are just, full-time members of the paddock, but trying to extend and bring that paddock to others and grow the interest in what we do here. I have confidence that you guys are going to become a similar thing for fans, more of an immediate thing, right? Going to them live and such, but do you have that same confidence? Any nerves rolling into the first weekend of your live shows? Tell me about that.
Well, from my point of view, and Tom's, I'm very, very worried about Tommy's stage fright, and he often runs out of things to say, so I don't have to carry him, but,
the explosive diarrhea as well. We're going to have a mop and a bucket ready.
His seat has a hole in it. That's all I'm going to say. No, I mean, this is a very well thought out plan. We believe IMSA is an ecosystem just waiting to be connected. And your podcast, there's a reason you've had millions of listeners now, because it connects those dots. We aim to do the same thing. But, we're going to have fun. We also have from my job in the pit lane for the last few years, I know perfectly well how the IMSA fan and the automotive fan reacts, and that is they like people. They love the cars, but they love the people. And, when people don't come up to me and go, Oh, I tell you what, Justin, the way you commented on the pit stop on the number 10, the way you said those 4 new tires, and they got a drinks bottle and a tear off. You know, they never come up and say that. They never say, Tommy, do you know what? I mean, they might say it to Tommy, actually, but, you know, your observation about that strategy in the night at Sebring, what they say is, when you confronted, for TK, you know, when you went head-to-head with Brian about something, that was great. Or when you got one of the drivers, you got, you know, someone on the phone, they loved it. Or to me, they say, when you go in and meet the fans, and when that guy mooned you at Le Mans, it's the best thing ever. So, you know, if there's enough naked backsides and, you know, dodgy people, our show's going to be fantastic.
Well, you've just described the majority of those folks who show up to sports car events. So, yes, I indeed believe it will be packed. So, well, tell us a little bit more to close here, guys. Just give us a little bit more about where folks can tune in and enjoy if they are not indeed at the track to view this live and in person. Where will folks be able to consume this both as it happens and hopefully on demand if they happen to miss a live show?
Okay, shall I run with this one, T?
It's all you.
It's all me. So, everybody who's at the track, who's an IMSA fan, you'll come and find us. We're in the IMSA paddock. You will not be able to miss us. There'll be a throne for Tommy and a potty for me. But you won't be able to miss us. We will be distributing our main shows live streaming to Motor Trend's Facebook page. Motor Trend are a fabulous partner for us, and obviously very active in not just the automotive but the racing world now. So we'll be on there. We'll also be on their YouTube channel. So you'll go to Motor Trend whether you're on the app or their website. That's our main shows live. The rest of the time, stay in touch with us. Become part of our family. Become part of the Talk Show Club. And you can do that through, obviously, our website, thetalkshow.com, or we are at Talk Show Live on our social media. So that's at Talk Show Live. And, you know, we got so many fun things. We have more ideas than we have minutes in a weekend. And, you know, Tommy and I knew we'd be dangerous when we got together, but now I think we're going to prove it.
And you have a production team helping. That is truly scary. There are folks, I guess, there are some kind folks who are willing to go along for this ride with you guys.
Work release, folks. You know, we like to call them partners.
Orange jumpsuits, I like that. That's awesome. Guys, I'm really so happy for you. Again, we touched on it in the open, but you know, we've seen our pals Brian Till, Jamie Howe are going to be doing IMSA Radio, so that's great for them from a continuation standpoint. And some of our other friends, not many, not enough, but some of our other friends have indeed become part of the NBCSN IMSA effort. But this just makes my little heart sing as a longtime member of the Fox family as well with you guys to know that seemingly just about everybody has landed somewhere, whether it's working for an existing institution or, like you two crazy kids, starting your own.
Yeah, message to kids. When you get fired, it's amazing how creative you get.
TK, let's close on this, because I do have one grand concern I should express. It sounds like Justin Bell is actually the responsible adult when it comes to this operation. A, is that true? And B, how did you let that happen, my man?
Well, I mean, responsible is a relative term. I mean, it's like your parents leaving you alone, and the 14-year-old is the person in charge. So, you know, it's he's in his element. Now, we might need to pull on the wellies up every now and again because it gets a little deep around Justin. But that's the part of the charm. And sometimes you can say stuff with that accent that the rest of it just can't get away with. So I was happy to defer. All seriousness, incredible job of taking the ball and running with this and bringing it all to life from just a pie in the eye idea into a thing that's going to happen.
Having been a stand-in on Justin's former Facebook show when Vanilla Ice failed to turn up, I've seen the power of Justin's planning and execution. You're in fine hands, TK. Fine hands. All right, guys, the Torque Show, everyone, seriously, and I say this every now and then, there's no competition here, truly, like our friends at Dinner with Racers and their primary tire partner, Continental, our friends here with the Torque Show with Michelin, My Little World with Cooper Tires. Look, we're all friends here. We're all cheering and rooting for each other, and watching these guys, helping get their numbers up, helping get more money coming into them. Honestly, this is all just quality entertainment, a little bit on the outskirts of the formal stuff, but if you ask me, that's where you find the best stuff. Guys, can't wait to see you here shortly at Daytona, and if you hear someone heckling you or throwing things during a show, it's probably me. Well, that was the silly Southern Californian and the even sillier Brit. Definitely do a little Google search or whichever search engine search you prefer for Torque Show, and that should pull up all of the ways and methods to reach out to those nuts and to subscribe and follow along to all that they are starting to do this week and will be doing at every round. All right, I'm Marshall Pruitt. This is a Marshall Pruitt podcast brought to you by the Justice Brothers and Cooper Tires. Thank you for listening.